Hey guys, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be touching on 5 matchups in college basketball and who we think are the better bets against the spread. And this is going to be for March 1st, 2017. We're heading into March Madness, which is always a really exciting time of year for us basketball fans. So those 5 matchups, if you're interested in the games I'm going to be talking about, I will throw those down in the video description. And if you want our daily free pick as well as more pick content in general, you can head on over to our main website, stumpthespread.com, by clicking on the logo in the top right-hand corner of this video, and I'll also link Stump the Spread down in the video description. And if you want more of this pick video content in the future, you can click that subscribe button. So heading into it here, first match I want to touch on is over in the SEC between Tennessee and Louisiana State. LSU just having an awful year, currently sitting in last place in the SEC, picking up just one conference win thus far. Obviously, LSU was expected to take a step back this year, given the fact that Ben Simmons moved on to the NBA as the #1 overall pick this past offseason, as well as some other key players for LSU. And the Tigers just simply haven't been able to find their footing or, get over the hump in at least some of their competitive matchups. LSU has also taken their fair share of blowout defeats, and they clearly haven't done a good job of defending their home court. Coming to this one against the Tennessee Vols, who are a young group that definitely has shown a high ceiling this year. They just haven't been consistent enough to make that case to make the NCAA tournament. Head coach Barnes is, slowly but surely getting this Tennessee basketball program heading back down the right road. And if these guys stick together, Tennessee could be a factor coming up in the upcoming seasons in the SEC. So Tennessee got some young guys looking to close out the season on the right foot as we, head down the stretch. Definitely going to be bringing a full effort here today on the road. We do like Tennessee to go on to win and cover the spread against LSU, who simply hasn't been fighting throughout most of conference play and really just unable to, show all that well, especially on their home court. Louisiana State hasn't been picking up all that great a result, so we're going to go ahead and side with Tennessee in this one to go on to cover the spread. Moving down here to the Big Ten, we have a matchup between Michigan and Northwestern. Both these teams look to be in the NCAA tournament at this point in the year, both having pretty similar resumes, but the bright side for Michigan coming to this matchup is they are trending in the right direction, especially coming off that win in their last outing at home against Purdue. A great resume result for there. Michigan also has a recent win against Wisconsin, so Wolverines definitely racking up those elite resume wins at the right time of year. Northwestern, on the other hand, has been fading a bit, losing 5 of the last 7 games, and really taking 2 losses against Illinois, which are not the most ideal defeats there for Northwestern. The Wildcats still look to be in the NCAA tournament right now. If this team loses out through the rest of the regular season and then loses in their first round of the Big Ten, maybe they don't make the big dance, but that's definitely not a situation that Northwestern fans want to think about, given the fact that this is the only team in college basketball that's never made the NCAA tournament. So coming to this one, Northwestern has a pretty solid home court advantage, but they really haven't been looking all that great on their home court as of late. Like I noted, their loss against Illinois at home, not great. And then recently, their home game against Rutgers was not all that impressive either, but Northwestern was at least able to pick up a win in that one. In their last outing, Northwestern also fell on the road to Indiana, and the Indiana Hoosiers haven't been having all that much success in the Big Ten themselves this year. So should be a pretty good matchup here, but given the way these teams are trending, we're going to go ahead and side with the Michigan Wolverines, getting that 1 point as the better value bet. Right below that, we have a matchup over in the A10 between Rhode Island and St. Joe's. St. Joe's really could have maybe potentially made a push to the NCAA tournament this year. If they haven't had to deal with all these injury issues, even then it was going to be a long shot. St. Joe's more than likely would have been an NIT squad, but without Shavar Newkirk and Lamar Kimball, St. Joe's just isn't the same kind of threat. And then we have this Rhode Island squad coming into the year as a top 25 team. They've never been able to live up to those expectations, but Rhode Island is still hanging around to that NCAA tournament picture, just in terms of their overall resume right now. And Rhode Island's definitely been taking things up a couple notches as we've headed down the stretch of the regular season. In their last outing, Rhode Island looked really strong, getting past VCU at home by double digits. And Rhode Island, their struggles this year have stemmed from the fact that they haven't been consistent on the offensive side of the ball, but they bring that defensive intensity in every game that they head into, and that's really allowed this group to rack up the number of wins that they've been able to do thus far. So coming to this one, given the fact that St. Joe's is dealing with some pretty significant injury issues and the fact that Rhode Island still has a lot to play for right now, We're going to go ahead and side with the Rhode Island Rams here as they lean on their defensive strengths to go on to win and cover this spread on the road. Scrolling on down here, we have a matchup over in the ACC between North Carolina State and Clemson. NC State, many thought that they could potentially make a run to the NCAA tournament this year, but obviously with their lackluster results in the ACC, that isn't going to be the case. NC State did at least show some fight in their last outing against Virginia, even though they were way down in that one. North Carolina State never gave up, and they're really fighting for their head coach right now, and you can see it in the passion that these guys are showing out there on the court. North Carolina State not putting up the kind of results that they've been wanting to this year, but a team that at least has the kind of talent where maybe they could make a run in the ACC tournament. I'd be very surprised if they were able to make a deep run in their postseason tournament, but certainly not completely out of the question given the fact that NC State actually does have some decent talent. Going on the road today against a Clemson squad that also isn't necessarily looking like a great shot to make the NCAA tournament, just given the fact that they've taken so many defeats. And, Clemson, they've been so close in so many of these conference games. But at some point, you do have to pick up wins if you're going to get into the NCAA tournament. And that's really where Clemson is lacking right now. And, if they could just have pulled out some of these wins in these very close games, they'd be in a much better spot right now. But coming to this home game against NC State, Clemson certainly not completely out of the NCAA tournament picture, just given the fact that they have been competitive in so many of those, tough games against high RPI-rated teams. So we feel like NC State can at least keep things competitive today, and Clemson, they haven't necessarily been all that great in terms of blowing out teams that you would expect them to beat convincingly. So we expect this to be somewhat competitive. We feel like Clemson's going to go on to win straight up, but getting the 8.5 to 9 points right now, I feel like NC State's going to be the better value bet against the spread. All right, moving on down here, one more game I want to touch on. It's going to be between Kansas State and TCU. Both of these teams are probably on the outside looking in at the NCAA tournament right now, but very close in that bubble range. Clearly a must-win game. That's a really overused term, but a very important win nonetheless for both of these teams right now. TCU actually picked up one of their better wins in Big 12 play on the road against Kansas State earlier in league play. And that has to give this squad some confidence coming into this one at home. TCU has a pretty solid home court advantage. Recently falling in a very competitive matchup against West Virginia at home. This should be a fairly competitive battle. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more of a defensive affair, much more so than we saw between these teams in their first go-around, but we do like TCU behind their home court advantage to go on to win and cover this spread. So those are the 5 games I wanted to touch on in today's video. Again, if you're interested in getting our daily free pick, you can head on over to our main website, stumpthespread.com, by clicking the logo in the top right-hand corner of this video, and also link Stump the Spread in the video description. If you're interested in getting more of this pick video content in the future, you can click that subscribe button. And any thumbs up on the video are greatly appreciated. So thanks, guys, for stopping on in, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.